There is something sabotaging your desires, and almost no one realizes it. Most people believe that to achieve something important, you need to want it badly, insist intensely, and fight until you get it. But this common belief may be precisely what is keeping you from getting what you want. How many times have you found yourself trying hard, investing time, energy, emotion, and yet nothing happens? The more effort you put in, the further away it seems to be. Why does this happen? Why does the result slip further away the more you strive for it? The answer may lie in a little discussed but highly powerful principle, a subtle, almost invisible mechanism that transforms intense desire into a real block. It is a counterproductive effect where excessive trying leads to stagnation. When wanting turns into urgency, and urgency turns into desperation, the energy around you stops flowing. The truth is that there is a crucial difference between wanting and needing. The former inspires movement, the latter paralyzes. When you want something lightly, you send out a frequency of openness. But when you need something anxiously, you emit a vibration of lack. And what does the universe understand? That you are lacking that thing. The result? What was meant to come moves away. This effect is real and can be observed in everyday life. A simple example. When you try desperately to sleep, sleep does not come. But when you relax, it arrives. When you force a conversation, it does not flow. But when you allow silence, the right words emerge. This dynamic is present in everything. And yet, we have been conditioned to believe that only those who force, who run, who insist until the end, win. No one teaches us that letting go is also a path, that sometimes what you want just needs space to arrive. This space comes from trust. Trusting is different from waiting. Waiting often comes loaded with anxiety. Trust, on the other hand, is silent. It is the inner certainty that the right time exists and that you don't need to chase after what is already coming. When you're aligned with this frequency, everything around you changes. People react differently. Opportunities appear more fluidly. Problems are solved with less effort. Not because reality has changed, but because your vibration has changed. But how do you get into this state of lightness? How do you stop pushing without looking like you're giving up? The first answer is simple. Understand that letting go is not abandoning. It's aligning. Letting go means giving up control over the path, but keeping your intention firm. It means knowing what you want, but not demanding that it happen your way. It means trusting that the universe sees more than you do, and that what is true will come your way, even if that path is not yet visible. This understanding changes the way you live. What was once a battlefield becomes fertile ground. The effort doesn't disappear, but it transforms. It ceases to be tension and becomes direction. You act, yes, but you act with awareness, not desperation. You seek, yes, but with clarity, not anxiety. You plant, but you don't keep pulling up the soil to see if the seed has sprouted. You trust the process. And in this new state of consciousness, something is revealed. You don't have to chase after what is already in tune with you. What vibrates at the same frequency attracts each other. What vibrates at the opposite frequency repels each other. If your vibration is full of fear, doubt, and lack, even if your desire is noble, it will not find room to flourish. But if it is filled with calm, confidence, and openness, what is yours will come. This is the secret that many spiritual masters have always taught, but few actually apply. They talk about flowing with life, about observing without attachment, about acting with presence and not with haste, because they knew that control is an illusion and surrender is freedom, and that surrender is powerful. It is not an act of weakness, but a vibrational intelligence. You stop wasting energy trying to push life and start collaborating with it. The result? Everything flows more naturally. Perhaps you're experiencing something right now that seems stagnant, a relationship, a project, a decision. And maybe you're trying to solve it with extra effort, more analysis, more trying. But what if, for a moment, you just let go? Not letting go in the sense of giving up, but saying to yourself, I trust. What is meant for me will remain. What is not will make room for something better. This simple attitude changes everything because it takes the weight off your energy field. And when the weight is gone, energy flows. Have you ever noticed that the biggest turning points in life often came when you weren't expecting anything? When you were relaxed, not forcing anything, just living? That's not chance. That's alignment. And if you want more moments like that, you need to create that space every day. It's not about meditating for hours or repeating magic phrases. It's about being present, about breathing, about observing. And remember, you don't have to chase after what you're already ready to receive. If this content made you think like the video now, this helps spread the message to more people who, like you, are ready to understand that trying harder isn't always the answer. Leave a comment telling us which city or country you're watching from, and say, I let go so that the best can come. This simple phrase already starts to change your vibration. And if you know someone who is demanding too much of themselves, living in the anxiety of it has to work, share this video. Sometimes what a person needs to hear is exactly that. That letting go is also an act of self-love. There's a moment when everything starts to change, and it happens when you stop fighting reality. Most people are waging an invisible war with their own lives, trying to control time, events, other people's reactions, and even their own destiny. But this struggle is exhausting. And the worst part? It's ineffective. The constant attempt to adjust the outside world to your expectations creates a permanent state of frustration. And the more frustrated you become, the lower your vibration drops. And the more your vibration becomes unbalanced, the harder it is to achieve what you want. This cycle does not end with more effort. It ends with conscious surrender. The word surrender may seem negative at first glance, as if it means giving up. But in fact, it represents one of the most powerful acts one can take, to stop fighting what already is. Have you ever stopped to notice how life flows better when you relax? When you take the weight of expectation off, everything seems to fall back into place on its own. It's not magic. It's reorganized energy. The universe does not respond to your demands. It responds to your frequency. Imagine trying to push a door that opens the other way. The harder you push, the more it resists. Now imagine if, instead of pushing, you just pulled it gently. There you go. The door opens. Reality works the same way. Often, force is being applied in the wrong direction. When you insist on a result, you force the universe to operate within your limited vision. But what if what you want is available in a different and even better way than you imagine? By letting go of control, you allow it to happen. Accepting the present moment as it is does not mean liking everything that is happening. It simply means recognizing that fighting reality does not change reality. It only weakens you. And when you accept it, you stop wasting energy. You save emotional, mental, and physical strength. And with that energy recovered, you start to act more intelligently. Your decisions become clearer. Your movements become lighter. And most importantly, your results become more aligned. This is where true power begins to manifest itself. When you act from acceptance, not resistance. Resistance creates tension, and tension blocks the flow of life. Now, imagine you're swimming in a river. If you try to swim against the current, you'll get tired, frustrated, maybe even hurt. But if you allow the water to carry you, you move with ease. This does not mean you have lost control. It means you have recognized the intelligence of the flow, and you have started to collaborate with it instead of fighting it. Acceptance is that moment of deep emotional intelligence. It's when you understand that there is a natural rhythm at work, and that the more you respect that rhythm, the more life cooperates with you. This principle is not new. It is recognized by different spiritual, philosophical, and even scientific traditions. Buddhism teaches non-resistance. Taoism speaks of the effortless way. Quantum physics asserts that observation influences the outcome, and that your internal state directly interferes with perceived reality. In all these lines of knowledge, there's a common thread. How you deal with the present determines what comes next. If you deal with the present in a state of tension, anxiety, or anger, you are emitting waves that build your next moment. But if you choose acceptance, calmness, and presence, you are planting possibilities much more aligned with your true desires. And here comes an essential point. Accepting is not conforming, but trusting. You don't accept because you've given up. You accept because you trust that there's intelligence in everything, even in what seems meaningless now. You understand that not everything is under your control, but that everything can be in tune with you. It is this harmony that transforms desires into reality. It's not the number of steps you take. It's how often you walk. And how can you apply this in practice? Start with simple questions. What am I trying to control right now? What part of my life is stuck because I'm pushing too hard? What would happen if I just let go? These questions are not meant to paralyze you. They are meant to reposition you, to shift you from tension to balance, from fear to confidence, from anxiety to alignment. And that alignment creates miracles. Not miracles in the mystical sense, but vibrational miracles. Situations that seemed impossible begin to reorganize themselves. People who were distant reappear. Opportunities that seemed stuck arise naturally. Why? Because now there is space. Because you stopped occupying the entire field with your silent screams. Because you finally let the universe breathe with you. This is the big shift. Moving from imposition to collaboration. Life is a dance, and dancing isn't about leading everything. It's about feeling the rhythm and moving with it. It's about respecting the pauses, the turns, the silences. And when you understand that, you discover something that changes everything. You're not here to rule the world. You're here to dance with it. And if this message has resonated with you so far, like this video now, it helps us continue sharing content that truly touches and transforms. And write in the comments, I accept the now and trust what comes next. This simple statement already begins to change your energy. And the more people connect with it, the stronger this current of change becomes. If you know someone who is stuck trying to solve everything with force, share this with them. Sometimes the greatest help you can give someone is to show them that lightness is also a possible path, and often the most effective one. Have you ever stopped to think that the peace you seek so much may be nowhere else but within yourself? It is not an external achievement, something that needs to be found outside. Real peace is an internal state, a way of seeing, feeling, and positioning yourself in life. But why do so many people still believe they need to achieve peace, as if it were a trophy at the end of a marathon? Simple, because we were taught to look outside ourselves, to look to others, to results, to achievements, for what can only be found within. And what else drives peace away? Excessive effort. The idea that to be worthy of rest, you must first suffer. That you can only rest after victory. That you can only smile after the effort. But that's a vicious cycle, because those who live waiting for peace at the end never find it along the way. Peace is a vibrational state. It is born the moment you accept the now, even if the now is not ideal. It flourishes when you let go of control, not out of giving up, but out of trust. When you understand that life has its own rhythm, and that sometimes insisting is exactly what blocks the flow. This understanding is liberating, because you stop fighting against yourself. You stop berating yourself for not having gotten there. You stop blaming yourself for not having done everything right. And you begin to realize that the only real place is the present. And that the present, when lived well, builds all the tomorrows. But how do you access this state in a practical way? The first answer is, look inside. Observe what you feel when you want something very intensely. Do you feel lightness? Or do you feel tension? Does your body relax? Or does it tense up? This feeling is your sign. It reveals whether you are creating from confidence or fear. Are you allowing life to happen or trying to force it to follow your script? And that is where true power can be activated, the power to choose to let go. Letting go is not abandoning. It is replacing tension with clarity. It is acting from the awareness that what is yours will come, and that what has not come is also helping you find something better. It is in this space of permission that life finds room to surprise you, because you're no longer limited by your expectations. You are open to greater possibilities, to paths that your logical mind may not even imagine. And to experience this, you need to cultivate a different kind of strength, inner strength. Not the kind that pushes, but the kind that sustains. The kind that keeps your vibration steady even when everything around you is fluctuating. That anchors you, even when nothing seems to make sense. This strength comes from the understanding that you are already complete, that you don't need anything outside of yourself to feel whole. That love, peace, success, and abundance don't come when you achieve them. They flourish when you allow them to come from within. That's why so many people who have everything still feel empty, because the external will never fill what the internal does not recognize. It's like trying to quench your thirst with salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you feel. The answer lies in the simple, in the subtle, in the present. It's about learning to live with more attention to what you're feeling right now, and less focus on what you think you need to achieve. That's when your vibration starts to rise, because you stop sending out signals of lack and start sending out signals of completeness. And the universe responds to your vibration, not your request. It doesn't listen to words, it reads energy. That's why when someone vibrates peace, they attract peaceful situations. When they vibrate gratitude, they attract more reasons to be grateful. And when they vibrate confidence, they attract answers. It's invisible math, but it's infallible. Now, you may be asking yourself, but if I stop chasing after things, how will they happen? The answer lies in changing your attitude. You don't stop acting. You act without haste, without despair, without fear. You do what needs to be done, but with a light heart, with a calm mind, and with your soul at peace. And that changes everything. You realize that you can be productive without being exhausted, that you can seek growth without losing yourself in demands, that you can dream big but walk in peace. That's when your inner strength shines through, not like a destructive lightning bolt, but like a guiding light. And that light begins to touch everything, your relationships, your projects, your decisions. Because now you are whole, you are present. And when you are whole, you don't have to beg for anything. You become magnetic. People feel it. The universe notices it. And reality begins to reorganize itself around you. That is the silent transformation that begins with a simple choice: to stop fighting and start trusting. Not because everything is resolved, but because you are resolved with yourself. This trust does not need to be shouted from the rooftops. It reveals itself in the way you breathe, the way you walk, the way you look, the way you react. Because those who trust transmit peace, and that peace spreads. And as it spreads, it builds new possibilities. Because those who live in peace build in peace. They create in peace. They attract in peace. If this message touched something inside you, like the video right now, this helps spread this vibe to more people who, like you, are ready to let go of the weight and embrace lightness. Leave a comment saying, "I trust my flow." This affirmation reinforces your frequency and creates a connection with those who are vibrating in the same field. And if you know someone who is trying too hard, pushing too hard, carrying the world on their shoulders, send them this video. Perhaps this is the reminder that person needed to stop, breathe, and realize that there is another way. Not a path of inertia, but a path of presence. Not a path of passive waiting, but one of active trust. Not a path of brute effort, but one of conscious movement. Life doesn't have to be difficult to be great. It just needs to be lived truthfully.